Yes. I would just like to explain to you the gavel. One rap would call it to order or seat it when standing. 2 raps call up the officers, and 3 raps call up the entire lodge. At this time, I would like to ask you to please stand, and we will pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. O eternal God, through whose mighty power our fathers won their liberties of old, grant, we beseech thee, that we and the people of the land may with loyalty, fidelity, and courage maintain these liberties. Protect and assist all who are serving their country at home or abroad, by land, by sea, or in the air, that they, being armed with thy defense, may be preserved evermore in all perils, and being filled with wisdom and girded with strength, may do their duty. Protect and assist all of the veterans we are honoring this evening. We are all very grateful for what they have done for our country. We ask this to the glory and honor. Amen. Amen.
This time I would like to introduce some of our officers and myself. I'm Worshipful Master of Tamaqua Lodge. My name is John Shipram. My senior warden is Jerome Betts. My junior warden is Delroy Hawes. He has a walker, he's not able to stand. And his fill-in is Don Fetters. Junior warden. My secretary is Mike Burns. My treasurer is Dave Billick. And my pursuant is Rich Haddesty. And my senior master of ceremonies is Ed Moran. Our senior deacon is Ed Moran.
Thank you all for coming.
At this time, I would like to turn the program over to our district deputy. Do you want me to start it?
Yeah, start.
You don't want to, your remarks?
I'll hold my remarks.
All right. Okay, at this time we'll go right into the program. Military action has played a very important part in the history of America. The citizens of the early colonies rallied to defend its existence and guarantee its freedom. Even though many of the early settlers of the 13 original colonies came from England, when these people realized the mother country was taking advantage of them, they rebelled and war was declared against England in spite of limited resources. The outcome of the war was uncertain, but the perseverance of its soldiers gave the new nation victory and independence. 2 decades after the War of Independence, the new nation faced more military action from the British. The War of 1812 gave the new nation a second victory and an opportunity to solidify its freedom and gain recognition abroad. As the United States began to grow and expand into new territory, the nation became involved in a war with Mexico. This military action of 1845 gave us Texas and territory to the west. With the 1860s, the nation became involved in an internal war between brothers from the north and south. It was known as the Civil War in the north and the war between the states in the south. After a long, bitter line of battles, with a great loss of lives from both sides, the North won the war. A short war in 1898 with Spain, called the Spanish-American War, gave the United States an international status. We gained a dominant position in the Caribbean. We gained Puerto Rico as a territory and in turn control over Cuba until it was granted freedom. In the Pacific, we had control of the Philippine Islands until they were granted freedom on July 4th, 1946. Brother Senior Warden?
The new century changed the nature of conflicts of wars to a worldwide scope. We called the first war of the century the war to end all wars, or World War I. And in less than 2 decades, World War II was on the scene. The horrors of these wars are documented in mass killings, the use of more deadly ordnance and machines of war, the use of gas in World War I, and the use of atomic bomb in World War II. Man has succeeded in creating weapons of mass destruction. He had literally demonstrated the ability to destroy humankind. Since the end of World War II, the United States has taken on a larger role as a keeper of the peace, a protector of smaller nations, and of some of the oppressed people of the world. We have sent our troops to Korea, Vietnam, the Persian Gulf, and Afghanistan. Although we as a nation have preserved through these trying times, what have we done to recognize the accomplishments of the military personnel who have preserved our way of life? America owes a great debt of gratitude to its veterans. In all the wars that have been part of our history, in each of their battles, the veterans have played the most important role. They were there with their talents, their skills, and their bodies to do what was ever necessary to preserve our freedom and our way of life. World War I ended at 11 a.m. on November 11, 1918, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, and was known as Armistice Day. Armistice Day officially received its name in America in 1926 through a congressional resolution. On May 13, 1938, through a similar congressional action, it was declared a national holiday. Brother Junior Warden?
Realizing that peace was equally preserved by veterans of all wars, President Eisenhower signed a bill in 1954 which changed the name of Veterans Day and proclaimed November 11th as Veterans Day to pay honor to those who served honorably. On June 28, 1968, a bill was signed to change the date of Veterans Day from November 11th to the fourth Monday of October to allow for a long weekend. It was first observed on October 25, 1971. It became apparent that the date of November 11th had great significance to American veterans, and on September 20, 1975, a public law was signed changing the date back to November 11th. Beginning in 1978, it has remained the day of observance to this day. In 1921, an unknown soldier from World War I was buried in Arlington National Cemetery, the site on the hillside overlooking the Potomac River in the city of Washington, D.C., became a focal point of reverence for American veterans. On Memorial Day 1958, unknown soldiers from World War II and Korean War were brought from overseas and interred beside the soldiers from World War I. In 1984, an unknown soldier from the Vietnam War was also interred in this cemetery, but with advancements in DNA technology, he was identified in 1998 and disinterred and returned to his family for burial. To honor these men, symbolic of all Americans who gave their lives in all wars, an Army Honor Guard, the 3rd U.S. Infantry, keeps day and night vigil 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Soon after the end of World War II, Raymond Weeks, a veteran of World War II, presented an idea to General Eisenhower for a Veterans Day celebration. He thought of Memorial Day as was to honor the memories of those who had died. A National Veterans Day celebration on November 11th to honor living veterans would be in order. General Eisenhower embraced the idea, and after going through the proper channels, Mr. Reich started the first parade with festivities to honor veterans in 1947. In 1982, President Ronald Reagan honored Mr. Reich with the Presidential Citizens Medal for his role in organizing and starting this event.
As we go about our daily lives, I think we all take for granted the freedoms we enjoy, those implemented by the insight of our forefathers and guaranteed by our Constitution. The freedom from tyranny and oppression, the freedom to voice our opinions and meet in private, as we are here tonight, to name a few. These freedoms were fought for by the American veteran, who gave their time and sometimes their lives to guarantee our way of life. We as Masons care and recognize the service and sacrifice the members of our armed forces have made and are making. We have implemented programs to support them and their families and have received unbelievable support through our membership. It is with heartfelt gratitude we acknowledge and support these brave men and women. So as we leave here tonight, let us all reflect on those freedoms we enjoy and thank a veteran for their service to our country. Thank you. You can be seated. Yeah, at this time, I made up a small speech, and I tried to put it together as best I could as a veteran, and the different experiences that veterans have. And I put some things together here, and I made it into a little bit of a speech here. And I would like to say that it has an impact on our present and future lives. President John F. Kennedy said, "Any man or woman who may be asked what they did to make their life worthwhile can respond with a great deal of pride and satisfaction. I served in the United States military." The American soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines all proudly wore their uniforms as best as anyone in past conflicts, wars. Their sacrifice was great as any before. We must honor these great Americans, living, and those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. We give tribute to them, but most importantly, we give them our debt of gratitude. When our country asked them to serve and fight, they did. They carried the torch of freedom high above their heads and made us all proud to be Americans. Our country called on these Americans to fight, to bring freedom and liberty to countries and to people that had never known of any. They left their fathers, mothers, sisters, and brothers. They were husbands. They were wives, sons, and daughters. But when asked to serve, they served. Some fell victim of battlefield wounds or injuries that disabled them for life. Others succumbed to the very real and disabling psychological illness from exposure to combat. They live with this every single day. I am proud to call these heroes my comrades. We must remember the sacrifice of all veterans, not only on days allocated for remembrance, but every day. When asked, these heroes did not turn away and walk off quietly into the night. They marched through jungles, waded through rivers, They fought on the sea and in the air, never knowing what to expect. Mostly, they accepted their order without question and unfettered. They accepted their order and did not shirk, no matter what their political views were. For many of them, they paid the ultimate sacrifice. Their greatest victory is here today, in our right to gather and to speak openly about what they have done. The victory that I speak of is spread throughout our cities, towns, and counties, and our country. It is in our streets and in our homes. It is with our children who sleep peacefully every night, not fearing a foreign invader, but secure, safe, and protected. Their victory is with the print and broadcast media, who openly and freely write the news, not fearing government prosecution. Their victory is in our ability to freely participate in the affairs of our federal, state, and local government. Their victory is our nation's freedom. That is why we honor them. All that have worn the uniform are honored with the title of veteran. America is truly the light of liberty. Freedom is a gift of God and a right of every single American citizen. We must not, we cannot forget that this would not be true if it were not for our veterans. God bless all of our veterans and their families, also those who are serving throughout the world. In closing, I would like to read a poem, and it was made up in the Vietnam era. And this was given to me by a friend. And I served in Vietnam. And at the start, in 1964, this is when the war started, in approximately 1964. And it says here, I am here in Vietnam, the land of politicians forgot. And I sometimes feel like someone I'm really not. Where you can't trust anyone, not even a child at play. Or kill or be killed is the slogan of the day. In this land of swamps and sweat, of broken promises and regrets, of an enemy I cannot see, yet I must kill or he'll kill me. Fighting in every town and city, what goes on is a crying pity. Bombing, shooting, killing, looting. Why, I ask the Lord above to survive. Orders are to leave no one alive. The enemy is all around you. He may even call you by your name. If he isn't shooting you with bullets, he's selling you drugs to drive you insane. It's a war that is fought so very far from home. You sometimes wonder if America has left you here alone. As you fight, think and ponder about Hanoi and the speeches of Miss Fonda. Now at the end, the second part of this poem was drawn up towards the end, and that is in 1974. At long last, this undeclared war is over. It's the end of the charade. There simply were no winners, no celebrations, no welcome home parades, just jeers, baby killer. So quietly the vet walked home, although 58,156 souls have their names etched in stone. He faces unemployment and no place to live. And yet most have picked up their shattered lives all through until today. They wake up screaming and still dreaming of the fighting and the strife. We owe it to our lost buddies, the the ones we left behind. Let's bring the 2,400 home again. After all, they are our brothers as well as mine. I would like to thank you for allowing me to read that to you. And at this time, I would like to turn our program over to our District Deputy Grand Master, Robert Neff.
Good evening, my name is Robert Neff. I'm a representative for the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania. Because of these programs that we're having this evening. This same program is going on the whole month throughout every lodge in the state of Pennsylvania. There's 452 lodges in the state of Pennsylvania. And we'll be giving you a token from the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania for this event tonight. One thing I'd like to mention, 7 years ago, our Grand Master, Steve Gardner, started a program with asking all the lodges for change for troops. At the end of the meeting, they would throw change into a container, and they purchased calling cards for the enlisted personnel in Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan. And today, this program is still continuing, and they have collected over $800,000. And now they're taking care of the wives of the enlisted men. If they need oil or fuel oil, and appliance breaks down or something like that, furnace, they're taking care of that. And also, they're having a program for the pregnant wives. They're having baby showers, giving them all kinds of gifts and whatever is needed. And I feel it's a good program, and I really feel proud to be a Mason and be part of this. At this time, I'd like to start off calling all the Army vets up. And if you would please, start lining up along the south side and come around the altar. So at this time, all the Army vets, would you please rise? Yeah, about the Navy vets. Navy. You can start turning the corner behind the altar. Air Force. Marines. And Coast Guard. Is there anybody else? Anybody, any vet that I missed?
Well, they said it. Well, I'm.
Need assistance.
Please. This time I'd like you to state your name and branch of service and your rank.
My name is Jack Culp, in the United States Army. My rank was Specialist 4.
Thank you for your service. I'll give you a token from the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania. For your service.
Thank you, sir.
Carl Scully, United States Army, Pennsylvania Army National Guard, Colonel.
Gary Chikirda, Army National Guard Sergeant.
Dave Shuck, Army Pennsylvania National Guard, Spec 4.
Ron Shuck, Pennsylvania National Guard, Spec 4. You want my serial number?
Jim Gormley, United States Army, Spec 4.
Thank you very much.
Venture. Thank you for your service. Army, Second World War in Korea.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Frank Palco, Army National Guard.
Thank you for your service, Brian.
Robert Williamson. I was there, but he was sergeant and National Guard.
I was on the other side, it was an ABC.
Army, 25th Division Sergeant.
We have him at the end.
Pulling up the end. John Cutter, Army and National Guard.
Check that books early.
Paul Corinjock, United States Navy, Petty Officer First Class. Thank you, and thank the Masons for doing so much for the servicemen. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for your service.
Robert Lippy, United States Air Force, E4 Buck Sergeant.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for the Masons for doing a lot of service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I am, sir. John Shuck. And Marine Corps, USMC. It's Buck Sergeant.
Thank you for your service.
Francis Orner, United States Marine Corps, Lance Corporal.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gary Wetter,
Gary, thank you for your service.
George B. Wheeler Jr., United States Coast Guard. I was a seaman, oceanographer.
Thank you for your service.
John Chickram, United States Coast Guard, First Class Petty Officer, Damage Controlman. Thank you.
Richard Harrison, Pennsylvania National Guard, Sergeant.
Thank you for your service.
How are you?
Chief Veteran too?
Thank you for your service.
Andrew Lavigan, Marine Corps.
Okay.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for this. Very nice. Thanks for doing this.
I get a little lump in the throat.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
The old boy.
Okay. Do you want a quick group picture? Since it's already standing?
Yes, I gotta check with John.
Thanks again, Andy,
Thank you.
for your service.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Too bad you didn't get someone the manual, the station, and you could.
Jeff.
Eddie, did you get a picture?
Yeah.
Give him a big thank you.
Since it's already standing.
We have to give him a pin too. Make sure he gets a pin. Yeah.
Like you said, since everybody's here, if you want to stand there, they could get a picture.
Or right there. Only because they're already standing. Can you?
What do you want me to stand there? Here. Right here.
Could all the veterans come up here for a quick group picture? Sure. I appreciate it, thank you. Yep. If you're able to do steps, feel free to do steps.
Need to be a little more specific.
Yeah.
We follow orders well.
That's it, but you gotta be clear, yeah.
Thank you. If you're able to do steps, do the steps. If not, don't worry. We'll get as close as you can now. Good thing they're not big steps, so that's kind of good. So I prefer the step. Yeah. You know what? Actually, I'm going to cut you off on the edges. I'm going to move. If I point to you, you're going to be in the front. Not just cut you off, actually, what I do. Everybody here, can you come down like in front? Paul, too? Everybody right here.
A couple of us to kneel down so they can get everybody.
Yeah,
we won't get up.
Okay.
The big thing was, we're doing it on the computer.
You're going to stay in the back. You're going to be in the front? I'm looking at who's, yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
I should have said your name, I'm pointing at everybody. I'm looking at the height when I'm doing it. Who's the height?
It's gonna go.
All right, you're going to go this way? Maybe.
Why don't you chair so they can sit down?
I know, that's what I'm trying to think. All right, ready? I'll just do it fast, you don't have to sit down.
Yeah.
Actually, you're going to go. Sorry about that. And Paul, come down one row, maybe, possibly? This should work. I'm being a pain. You can get as close as you can so I can see your faces in the back. There you go.
Then I come up the steps.
There you go.
And I think she said.
Basically, no gas. This should work fine. Beautiful. As long as I see your faces, Paul to your right. There you go. I'll use names. One more time. You can move to your left a little bit. Beautiful. Thank you. Veterans, it's all about hurry up and away, right?
Just two more.
Oh, ready? Hold on 1 second here. More to your right. More to your left. What's the point of taking a picture? You can't see faces, right? All right. I'm going to take a lot of pictures, so bear with me here. Oh, that's beautiful. You guys don't want to be in this picture? Oh, guys, you guys are on the end. Can you get behind and fill in the gaps? Right here. Right here, and one of you can go on the other side. What? On the other side.
You said you're going to make it quick.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It never happens.
Are you ready? One. Oh, this is a very nice photo. Very nice photo. Wow. More to your left. Two more time. All out of the faces. I don't see faces. Why take the picture, right? and 2 pictures with the flash, and 2 with another setting, and I'm done. Ooh, 1 more like this. Ooh. I mean, 2 more, sorry. I thought I blinked. Somebody's blinking a lot.
That's you, Andy.
Yeah, it is me blinking. And 2 more, and I'm done, I promise. 1, 2. Oh, somebody joining. 1, 2. I say promise, I meant 1 more. 1, 2. Thank you, guys. Thank you. That was just practice.
Now we have to do it for real.
Oh, yeah, I know. Just 2 more, no problem, 2 more.
2 dozen more.
Yeah, I know.
How are you gonna stand up there? I'll take your
They can hear me talking on this.
I missed it the other day.
I was just for duty.
I know, right?
No. Was it? Garden Commandant of the Marine Corps at Israel, Washington, D.C. That's what I did. I was a guard. I went from the Air Wing in South Carolina. I transferred up there, and that was my duty.
At this time, I feel we should give all the veterans a hand for their services. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be meeting here tonight. So. Outside, and if anybody like any extra things for their friends and family, you'll come and see me. Plenty left over.
Before we leave, could I have one thing? While we have you guys here, I would like to say, you hear so much about the Masons. It's a cult, it's this, it's that. Now, look on the altar, there's no blood there. We don't sacrifice anything. But the Masons right now, just so you're aware, right now, we are giving $2 million a day to charity. How we can do this is, we have different branches in Masonry. We have our top cedars, we have our Shriners, we have our consistory, and each of these bodies in Freemasonry picks out something that they want to do for the children or people, the Eye Foundation, no matter what it may be. And when we see this, it totals up to be $2 million a day. Our Shriners right now, we have 24 hospitals in the Shrine, 3 burn centers. And if you know a crippled child and they can't afford to be taken care of, the Shriners will take care of them until they're 18 years of age. 21. Is it 21? 21 years of age, and it will not cost them 1 red cent. The Eye Foundation, I had an experience. There was an elderly man, that's in Commandery, which is another branch of Masonry. He was going blind. And his children came to me and said, John, could you help this guy out? I said, I'll give you the phone number, call them, they'll send a person up, they'll check with them, and see what they can do for him. That man, to this day, he qualified for it. He had an eye operation, it didn't cost him a cent, and he can see wonderful. So this is some of the stuff that Freemasons do, and we don't go out, we don't advertise it. Years ago, we couldn't say nothing. Now, our Grand Masters, they want us to do this, to let the public be aware of what we're doing. And I can tell you, in Freemasonry, it all starts right in this room. No matter what road you travel, it starts right there at that altar. So I would like to thank all of you again for coming, and go out and please enjoy your food, and there's cake out there, coffee, and have some good fellowship. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.